A study has found that new Android phones are being sold with spyware embedded in the OS and pre-installed apps in China, which is a massive shocker. Popular phone vendors like OnePlus, Oppo, Realme, and Xiaomi, as well as network providers and services like Baidu, are collecting huge amounts of sensitive personal information from users. And, this is wild, the devices continue transmitting data even when they leave the country or when the SIM card isn't installed.
Yeah.
The private sector in China typically has a close relationship with the government, which raises concerns about broader surveillance. So that's pretty wild.
I'm wondering about the SIM card not installed thing. Like, do they have some like shadow eSIM thing going on, or are they talking just over Wi-Fi?
You can place an emergency call when you don't have a SIM card in. So I've always just kind of assumed that
there's
SIM,
a way.
Yeah, I don't actually know a ton about exactly how mobile network authentication works. I've never had a reason
I believe
to look
there's
into
a bypass for emergency calls.
Well, there is. Yeah, you can have no SIM in your thing, and you can definitely place it. I know for a fact you can make an emergency call. So who operates that network that your calls carry? I don't know. But the point is that it's obvious to me that you absolutely can do stuff.
I think there's some.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's like an agreement with all telcos, at least in North America, where you have to service that call if you're the nearest tower.
Sure.
That
makes sense.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Nothing gets charged. It's something you have to do.
In more surprising news, Samsung's Galaxy S23 series phones are coming packed with, I kid you not, 55 gigabytes of uninstallable bloatware.
Uninstallable.
No, it's uninstallable.
Oh.
For comparison, the system partition is only 15 gigabytes on the Pixel 7, which contains 2 copies of Android, 1 redundant copy for the sake of background OS updates. Oh, this is an interesting note. Samsung is the only major OEM to not use this 2 OS system. The massive storage partition of the S23, then, is probably due to inefficient code and the fact that Samsung is both contractually obligated to install a suite of Google apps and also insists on installing their own suite of store brand clones for those apps for the sake of looking like they have their own thriving ecosystem. For the sake of looking like they have their own thriving ecosystem, Samsung likewise auctions off space in the partition to other companies and apps. Whew! Okay. So I guess we're supposed to look at this phone, which is apparently untouched, and we're supposed to evaluate how much crap is on it.
So
Dan's not here. So Dan? Not now. Bye. Dan? Oh, I heard back from XQC. I said, it's here. I think you owe me $1,000. Maybe do a stream reacting to the ChatGPT Bing part of the latest WAN show. He says, will do. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
Nice. Perfect.
All right. Hey, Dan, could I get a close-up, please? Close-up? On Luke. Because that seems closer. Oh, okay. Well, sure. Yeah, that'll do. So this is weird. There's not that much on here. There's Google Apps. There's a handful of... Oh, way to go, Dan. There's a small handful of Samsung apps. So then, oh, wow. I like our battery percentage, though. Nice. Oh, no, Dan.
Oh, my.
Dang it, Dan.
What's going on, Dan?
Okay. And then, so what? Is the storage even full?
Go to storage, and you can see
It's
that
what?
it's
What
60
the
It just says it's good.
No, there's 55 gigabytes consumed. There's nothing on here. That's it. How is that even possible?
What's going on in those folders? Is there like hidden stuff?
Google, Chrome, Gmail, Maps, and YouTube.
Where's the Samsung proprietary stuff?
Bixby, Messages, and My Files. They've even got OneDrive on here. And that's it?
Where is everything?
Yeah, what? Okay, so now...
Can you go into that internal storage and figure out like what it all is?
Hold on just a gosh darn minute here.
Yeah, there we go.
System.
You can't click on it.
55.22 gigs. Okay, I kind of assumed that the bloat was going to be just a ton of apps.
Me too. I mean, that's what the notes.
We're good, Dan. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was going to be just.
It said they're uninstallable. Can you go to uninstall
So maybe
programs?
it must be uninstallable then. I think that might have just been a typo. That is mind-boggling. So our discussion question here then.
Oh, check the apps section in settings and see for disabled apps. Interesting. That's from Brandmo in Floatplane chat.
Okay. Well, I'm into...
Handyman in chat is saying that it's because of GB versus GIB, and tech journalists don't know anything.
Gigabit? No, these are big bytes.
Are you
And
sure?
it also says 55 used, which is 10% of a 512 gig phone. So no, that's just definitely not right.
All right. Go to like uninstall and current status of apps and stuff. Look for disabled apps and what apps it lets you uninstall.
Sure.
Because I feel like things are hidden.
Yeah, that could very well be. Reset app preferences. Dude, there's sorry, I'm just here, we'll go back to
There's just nothing.
go back to the loop cam. No, it's good enough, Dan. It's good enough. There's nothing in here. Like that's it.
Really not a lot.
No, AR emoji is 172 kilobytes, like dictionary 4.1 kilobytes. Nothing in here is over 10 megs.
Handyman, just link the article, my dude.
That's mind-blowing. And you know what's funny is I was actually about to buy one of these. Yvonne needs a new phone, and I need something with dual SIM and something that's Android. She's got a handful of requirements.
Question for you: does it matter? There's 512 gigs on there. You have over 400 gigs of storage.
Right, but not every SKU has 512 gigs of storage in it. So, like, if you have a lower storage
What's
version...
the lowest storage of the S? This is what the S23?
Let's have a look.
Galaxy S23, yeah.
S23. Is it possible some of it is, like, reserved space? Like I'm talking, like swap file stuff? Like, I don't... Again, this is something I've just never really needed to look into. Is there any reason for them to have some reserved space? Because I could see that being part of it. 128? No, wait, hold on. I'm going to check. No, it's 256. So if you're talking about a fifth of your capacity being taken up by just an utterly bloated operating system, that's ridiculous. And even if you are talking about a tenth of it, even if I do have 90% of my storage, why is that good enough? Well, okay, hold on a second. I mean, with how much space Windows takes up, especially when solid-state drives were first coming to prominence in mobile Windows-based laptops, Windows would take up a substantial amount of your boot drive. Like if you bought a system with 128 gigs or 256 gigs, it was significant. Yeah, that's tough. So how do you...
Yeah, this article is saying, so this is an article from notebookcheck.net.
Yeah.
Saying if these accusations are true, then the Galaxy S models with 128 gigabytes of storage would offer just over 50% capacity for user data and apps. Checking on a 128 gigabyte version of the Galaxy S22 Ultra reveals that this is not the case. If the screenshot below shows, the device reserves 26.09 gigabytes for system.
Is it reserving some space just for like wear leveling on the SSD? That's the most plausible explanation that I can think of.
Conversely, a 512 gigabyte version of the S23 Ultra uses 55.23 gigabytes for system.
That would also explain why the S23, so people are just posting their Samsung phones and how much space system is taking up. So like 128 gig ones are more like 25 gigs, like half the size. And you know what? It would kind of make sense for it to not scale linearly with storage, if it was for wear leveling, like if it was for increasing the longevity of the SSD, because the bigger the SSD, the less the total capacity of it is likely to be written, and the less spare area you need to allocate in order to extend its life. If that's what they're doing, I'm super okay with it. Like I'm the kind of person who has my phone set to only charge to 85% every night, so that it is never sitting at 100% charge, and then I try to grab it before it manages to reach zero. But a lot of people here are saying, no, it's definitely hidden apps. I think this is absolutely a developing story, and we don't want to... Oh, apparently, yes, they do allocate some space for wear leveling, but it's not part of the 55.
Yeah, people are saying that it's not reported in that section.
Oh, this is not good. Not cool. Man, Samsung doesn't need more controversy right now with the dying SSDs that they've got going on right now, and just
Exploding
generally
batteries back in the day. They've
being
had some
Samsung.
issues. Yeah.
sure they've done something wrong.